Yeah, because you have people like Slash endorsing your music and supporting you, but then so you say it's also the people behind the scenes that you don't say that.
I mean, Slash is the sexy one. You know, Slash is the one that this looks good in a magazine article,
Right.
and of course it when I first hear that endorsement from Slash, I don't even know what to say or do. It's so overwhelming to be heralded by a guy like that. But again, when it comes to the logistical business level sense of like getting that tour that we need or whatever, I think that the backline crews have the as much influence. They're the ones
and
in
the tour managers.
Yeah, the tour managers and the crews, and I mean, all these guys we're referring to, they're used to being the unsung heroes. They're used to being the ones that make the show happen and make sure that they get like no love or respect. And I mean, they get respect, but they don't
get the glory.
They don't get the magazine cover or the fucking interview or
the
anything.
people cheering for them.
And these guys are the ones, and I don't like calling them roadies. I think that roadie is a term that's finally getting phased out because it kind of doesn't give them they're techs. They are technical crew members who have extensive knowledge about so many different things, and we hope to have some someday.
So yeah, does that take a toll on you then, doing that yourself?
No, I think the biggest toll we put on ourselves just by the lifestyle that you end up leading by having to kind of make all this stuff work, whether it's not sleeping enough or drinking a lot or even the strained emotional relationships of the people that you love at home. Sure. It's all kind of takes its toll on you, but
it gives you less free time in the day. Like the Canadian tour we just did, we actually had a stage guy for the first time. Shane, what's up? We didn't have to show up until, for the first time in our career, we didn't have to show up until sound check, and everything was ready to go. Yeah. And it was great because I had all day to call loved ones at home and go grab lunch and everything.
Yeah, take a moment for yourself to like get away from everybody. So
but now it's like we're unloading the trailer. We're back to reality now. That was like a dream world for like a few weeks, and now we're back to doing it elsewhere where we're still building. It's we're back to where we were a few years ago in Canada now over here. So accordingly we can't afford to bring all these crew members and do it where we get to take it easy.
But then maybe on the flip side, do these kind of things like being away from your family and maybe the lifestyle of drinking heavily on occasion, does that provide inspiration for songs as well?
It does for me. I kind of like to run the ragged edge sometimes, or a lot of times. I find some of my best moments songwriting have been when I've been at my worst. Okay. So, but not always. If I found inspiration in health and exercise, I maybe the other one's just more fun. I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah, I like the struggle.
Well, how come? That's quite interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I guess so much of my early years of songwriting, I was just such an emotional kid. So I was constantly like either dealing with like heartbreak or just the fluctuating lifestyle of being on tour and home all the time. And I don't know. I think that, and not just songwriting, but I think even just recording, and a lot of producers stand by this, is just it can't be too easy, which maybe is something that we got into with the last recording, which is we made it a little too comfortable. There is something to be said for having to hit your back up against the wall and having to dig deep to be able to like get the product finished or to get yourself to that next level. I think there is a little bit of truth in having to be pushed and having to like kind of fight back in a way, whether it's emotionally or physically, like actually with the guitar, where you're like, you can't make yourself play it or you can't make yourself do another drum take. There's something magical sometimes that comes out when you're pushed to your limit.
You say things might have gotten a bit too comfortable in the recording session. How come? If you look back, was it by design that it was this way? Yeah,
by specific design, intentionally. Okay. We built a studio in our home jam space, and we gave ourselves, like, without the being on the clock, and being kind of able to show up and leave whenever we wanted. I think we were showing up a little too late and leaving a little too early. And, you know, I get a little gluttonous with, you know, trying to find the perfect tone or get the perfect take. And, you know, when you start going down that wormhole, sometimes you end up losing sight of what it is you were even trying to achieve in the first place. So it's a good thing Marv's not here, because he'd just be shitting all over. He'd be like, we made ourselves too fucking easy, too much time, we wasted so much time.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's just, I'm not going to be as down on it as he would be, because it's all an experience. I mean, you learn something from every session and every recording, and every time you think you've got it figured out, you definitely don't. And it was a good experience. You know, the album turned out great, and we could have done it more efficiently, but we'll do that next time.
Well, in that sense, and because you say, well, you think the album turned out great, but was it a tough album to make?
Yeah. But like good.
Okay. In a good way.
Like if it was fucking easy, then I would feel guilty.
Right.
You know, like the first album took 2 tries. Like the first record took 2 complete recording sessions where we had like a version that we completely scrapped and redid, which was a completely different headache and regret. You know, not regret, but just a mistake that we, you know, learned from and had to adjust for in the future. But it should be tough. It shouldn't. I mean, writing a great record isn't easy. Yeah. Anybody who's ever written a great record, if any of them said that it was easy, they're full of shit. You know, or they're the Beatles. Yeah. Going back to the Beatles, they just show up. And
I definitely wouldn't be overly confident going into a release if it was really easy to make. You know,
yeah,
like, trying to be like,
yeah, I'd feel bad. I'd be like fucking worried. I'd be like, this is way too
harder,
easy.
You know what I mean? Like,
too easy.
Not that I want things to be hard, but you know, it's a very hard thing to do to make a good album. You know, yeah, I guess that's why we're really proud of it too. You know.
Yeah, we did have to add on an entire extra recording session and write a bunch of extra songs at the end, because we kind of came to the conclusion that it wasn't good enough, you know. And so that was a really tough decision. That was like us sitting down thinking that we were done, kind of convincing ourselves that the album was finished, and then having like someone from the outside be like, you know, I think you guys can do better, and us being like, fuck.
And then going in under the gun, having to write hits basically.
Yeah.
You know,
and then getting some of the best songs, some of the best sounds and songs on the record, being a great example of being under the gun, back up against the wall, do it now or don't do it at all scenario. And we did it, and it was like, you know, we got
there's some of the stronger tunes on the record.
For the People, and Another Man's Shoes, and not completely reworked, but a reworked version of Things Get Better, all came from that session. And it was something that, like, you look back now those are essential tracks on the record. So, and we get lots of compliments on, especially For the People and Another Man's Shoes. So, yeah, that was hard. It was like really hard to deal with. And we were on tour in Australia. We only had like a month. We only had a couple days to record them and write them from scratch. And it was stressful. It was really stressful.
But then you had that sense of urgency, kind of.
That's what I mean.
You talked about.
More evidence that it's a good thing. It can be a good thing.
Right.
You know, you can do both. You know, you can be comfortable and be in your own environment and on your own timeline. But at some point or another, you're gonna have to fucking do it, and you're gonna have to do it now.
Right.
And it's probably a good thing to have both of those in your kind of process.
And well, the song you mentioned, For the People. On the previous record, Curiosity, there was a song called Power of the People.
Yeah.
So was that kind of an extension of that song in a way?
The similarities kind of end there in the title. They're stylistically, they're quite different. The lyrical content is definitely along the same lines, and I know Marv tends to write very positive, positive depictions. Uplifting stuff. About I think most importantly, the people that feel like they have the least power, encouraging them to realize that they have more influence and more power and can have more control than they realize. But again, we never get too specific, and it's never. We're not trying to like wave a flag or like, you know, change the world. We're really almost just trying to create a soundtrack and a little bit of an uplifting message to people who, you know, may be on the fence, you know, or, you know, maybe feeling down at the moment.
And finally, then there was also a line: "Rock and roll might save your life."
Tongue in cheek.
Sure.
I think it's one of those things where it's as serious as you want to take it,
Right.
you know. And on one side, it's easy to take that very lightly, and kind of take it as a really kind of just a fun thing to do or say when we're in the show. But I think it's also if you choose to take it more seriously, you can. And I think there's definitely people out there that have used rock and roll, to save them, to really in their worst moments and in their most depressing or most struggle ridden moments, they use rock and roll music to get themselves out of it, to inspire them to keep going or whatever it is. And so again, we're not that sentiment isn't lost on us too. We definitely are willing to allow that to be taken as seriously as somebody wants to use it in their life.
And then this is a bit of a cheesy question, but what has rock and roll in a sense done for you if you go back to when you were younger and growing up? So if you look back at the early days, how has rock and roll changed your life?
I don't know. I don't really know how to. It just has been my life since I was 5, like from my first Beast Boys record. So it's like I don't know how to look at it separately, because it's just always been a huge part of me. No matter where I was, I don't know how to. It is who I am. So I don't know how to look at. I don't know what it's done for me because I just feel like I am rock and roll. Like I don't know how to picture myself without it. So I don't. It's a tough thing for me to answer.
Okay. It was the first thing for me that I knew I really wanted to do, because I had always struggled growing up figuring, I knew how hard it would be to make it in a band, but I didn't know if I wanted to be a teacher or work in the trades or whatever. And then I just started playing in a band with my cousins, and I remember that was the first time I was dead sold, this is what I want to do. I remember telling my parents that too, and they were like, okay, well, as long as you have a plan B,
What was the name of that band? I want to know.
And my family has a roofing company, so that's a harsh plan B.
What was the name of the band though with your cousins?
Fire in the Hole.
Fire in the Hole. I fucking knew it.
I played bass. Yeah, it was. And that was the first. That was. So I guess rock in that way was what really gave me. I was inspired to do something and driven to do something, and I had never been inspired or driven to do something so much before, so that's how it changed my life. And I guess I haven't really stopped since, been lucky.
Thank you very much for your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.